OK short video on the nested model of well-being. Although the concept of well-being is often invoked by health professionals, there is confusion about what the term actually means. In the professional psychological literature, there is a debate about whether researchers should focus only on subjective feeling states and reflective evaluations of happiness, which is called subjective well-being, or whether the construct should be defined more in terms of values and optimal functioning. This is called the eudaimonic approach after Aristotle. The nested model of well-being uses the unified metapsychology to develop a map of 4 key domains that make up the construct. The conclusion is that the concept of well-being can be summarized much as the philosopher Immanuel Kant noted when he said it was happiness with the worthiness to be happy. The nested model starts with the subjective, reflective state of the individual. The subjective state can be divided into 2, each of which have 2 elements. The first is the affective domain and consists of the ratio of positive to negative moods and feeling states. The second is the self-conscious reflective domain of life satisfaction. This consists of the degree of overall life satisfaction and the more specific domains. Here is a more detailed map of what the subjective domain might look like. In the center, we see the feeling states and general level of meaning, mattering, and engagement that generates life satisfaction. Then we have the different areas of focus, such as finances and occupation, relationships, etc. The next domain is health and functioning. This can be divided into the biological and psychological levels. We can think of this as how a medical doctor and a psychological doctor might evaluate the individual in their fitness and adaptive capacities. The domains of character are noted here to parallel those on the wheel of development and thus represent personality and relational functioning. There's also the biophysical functioning that a physician would assess. The third domain refers to the environmental context in which the person is situated. This includes the biophysical material elements and social structural elements like technology, economic resources, as well as the more social context like social roles, the relations a person has, and the general norms and values of that particular culture. All of this can then be placed on the time and development for a greater understanding and contextualization. Finally, the nested model posits that we must consider the values and worldview of the evaluator. The argument is that well-being is an inherently prescriptive, value-laden construct. As such, the values of the individual or system that's doing the evaluating must be considered. This connects to Kant's quote in that well-being is not just happiness, but must be deemed worthy via a reflective ethical light. It is worth noting that the nested model can be inverted to provide a map of what might be called ill-being. That is, states of ill health can be thought of as subjective misery, biological diseases and psychological dysfunctions, an impoverished or threatening environment that results in states of being that are evaluated as harmful, injurious, or otherwise undesirable.